Okay. So, Radhe Radhe. So, today we are going to continue our discussion on Shrimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran and um Canto 1. So, today we are going to cover chapter 14 and 15. So, let's start with the invocation. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha, Vasudeva Sutam Devam, Kamsa Charnooramardanam, Devaki Paramanandam, Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. All right. So, wait. So in the previous session, what all we've discussed, okay? So we'll discuss the birth of Parikshit, who was protected by Krishna in the Uttara's womb from Ashwatthama's deadly weapon, which was Brahmastra. We also discussed how Yudhishthira was ruling very prosperously. His reign was marked by righteousness. He performed lot of yagnas, so there was immense wealth and devotion to Krishna. The grand celebration of Parikshit's birth, where Brahmanas predicted his virtues. We saw that how Bhima with because Yudhishthira wanted to do Ashwamedh Yagna and he lacked the funds. He took advice, seeks Krishna's guidance, and he directed him to a place where they got a lot of gold, which was left by another king who performed another yagna, so which was retrieved with by Bhima. And then we saw Krishna's return to Dwaraka, where he took this time Arjuna with him. And then we saw Vidura's return to Hastinapur, how he convinced Dhritarashtra to renounce the worldly attachments and prepare for his final journey. Gandhari also accompanied him, and all three of them left towards north. And when Yudhishthira found that they are not there, he got distressed. Then, Narada came there. He told, many advices he gave to Yudhishthira. So actually, there was one thing that I missed that I included in this chapter regarding Narada's advice to Yudhishthira. And then the final days of the Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, how Narada explained it to Yudhishthir that what are they doing, and in 5 days they are going to, the Dhritarashtra is going to sit in meditation, and he's going to, the hut will get fire, and Gandhari will self-immolate, and the Dhritarashtra also will die in the process. And Vidura, knowing this, he left them and he took, he went for another pilgrimage. And everyone, Vidura and even Yudhishthira, who was very restless, and full of distress because his elders are not there, he understood that, this is the will of Lord, and he became peaceful. So this is what we discussed in the previous class. So let's go to the next chapter. So this chapter is mainly dealing with how King Yudhishthir um, grows apprehensive at sights of evil omens and Arjuna's return from Dwaraka. Uh, okay, so let's see what happens here. Okay, give me a second. All right. So Sutta continues. Okay. So this what happens next? Sutta says that Arjuna had gone to Dwaraka. We know that, right, from the previous chapter, that he has gone to Dwaraka to see Shri Krishna, and visit his relatives. And we know that Krishna's sister Subhadra was Arjun's wife, right? So they are related like that also. So it's like um he has lot of relatives in different kingdoms. So that is how they are all related to each other. They are marrying among each other and all. So Arjuna had gone to Dwaraka to see Shri Krishna and visit his relatives, eager to know how Lord was spending his time. And however, many months passed and he did not return. So this time, King Yudhishthira actually um, started while Arjuna had not returned. He was witnessing lot of omens, which was kind of terrifying for him. So what are the omens that he saw? He saw that time had taken a dreadful turn. The natural order of the season was completely disrupted. Thunderstorms are coming, rain is coming. So a lot of different weathers not appropriate that for that particular time was continuously coming. And then he saw that people are abandoning righteousness and were overtaken by greed, anger, and deception. Their actions lacked honesty, and even friendships were no longer sincere. Dishonesty and deceit corrupted the hearts of men, and even close relationships were tainted with treachery. Families were quarreling with each other. Husband wife were turning against each other. So he started seeing a lot of omens. And if you remember in the previous chapter, when Vidura came initially to meet to Hastinapur, so Yudhishthira actually asked him about did he visit people in the Dwaraka and how they were doing. And Vidura actually knew what happened and Krishna is no more, but he chose to remain silent. So he Yudhishthira doesn't know what has happened actually. So but he's seeing all these that once now Krishna is no more, so these things are happening, and these omens are trying to tell that something bad has happened. So he's saying, as the age of Kali approached, people's mind became clouded with selfishness and sinful desires. Dark omens appeared everywhere in and what are the you know and then he's telling Yudhishthira is telling to Bhima that I don't feel good. I don't understand why Arjuna has not yet returned from Dwaraka. 7 months have passed. Could it be that the time foretold by the celestial sage, which was Narada has given a hint actually of this. So I'll talk about it later, like maybe in few slides. So the moment when the Lord took his divine form for his devotees, I mean, he's saying that Krishna actually who took the divine form for his devotees now prepares to leave this world. Is it that he's preparing to leave the world that these bad signs are coming? He's asking to Bhima. It is only by his mercy that we have the kingdom, prosperity, loved ones, victories, and our very existence. But look, these omens, the sky, the earth, even our own bodies are warning of some of these impending calamities. So what are the signs that they are seeing? They are saying, so Yudhishthira is saying, my left thigh, my left eye, my left arm throbs again and again, and my heart is trembling with unknown fear. These are inauspicious signs. So basically, when the left side of men actually, have some twitchings and these kind of, throbbings, it is actually considered as a bad sign as per Vedic tradition. And for female, it is actually considered as a good sign. So then there he's saying that the she jackal, vomiting fire, howls towards the rising sun. So the jackal, she jackal is representing devastation and destruction, and vomiting fire is like some a strange howling sound that terrifying sound that she is making towards the rising sun. So sun is actually represented by dharma. So she jackal is vomiting fire, means strange sounds at the dharma. So while it actually means that there the darkness is actually spreading, the devastation and the destruction is actually trying to overpower the dharma. And while this dog Bhima fearlessly barks at me. So dog is considered as loyal and, good natured. So it is fearlessly barking at me means, he is considered as, again, symbol of dharma. So the dog is also showing that, this there is an imbalance that has happened. So good animals such as cows pass by my left, while inauspicious creatures like donkeys is appearing on my right. So this also is showing that, right now, left side of the goodness and the right side is bad. So there's kind of a tug of war, or kind of an imbalance is what is, being shown by these creatures who are very sensitive to these energies. So even my horse weep. So horse is actually a symbolism of, loyalty, kingship. So he's saying that, they are also crying. So they are saying, um they are showing that, these someone of high stature, a great leader is actually gone. So they are weeping. And O Bhima, the cries of these doves or owls and crows fill the night, sending a shiver down my spine. So these birds are not supposed to cry during the night time. Especially these doves, owls, and crows are considered as, again, symbolism of darkness. So they are crying in the night means, again, this negative energies are overpowering. The Kali Yuga has begun. So the quarters of the sky appear smoky, and the sun and moon seem surrounded by ominous mist. So here the sun is again represented by dharma, and moon is actually represented by time and mind. So people's mind. So we know that in the Kali, all these, the asuras are are actually uh, get situated in your mind. So in the Satyug, it was between the planets. So the asuras were in different planets and devas were different planets. In the Treta Yuga, they come and live in the same planet. So we know Ram destroying different demons, right? And then in the Dwapara, it becomes, they come in one family. And in the Kali Yuga, it is the two, these good and bad actually is get situated in your mind. So that's what he's saying, that the sun and moon seem surrounded by ominous mist. So they are both, the dharma and your mind is getting clouded by these negativities. The earth trembles, mountains shake, and thunder crashes with terrifying force, accompanied by violent lightning. So again, even the thunder and the terrifying force accompanied by violent lightning, even the gods are not happy with the trembling of the earth and mountain is actually saying that the stability of that the Dwapara Yuga brought is actually is getting shaken. And the winds blows fiercely, filling the air with dust and darkness, while the rain falls as if it were blood, creating a dreadful side. So again, the nature is also not supporting there's a lot of imbalances that is happening, because it's all signs that Yudhishthira is seeing. Look at the sun, it has lost its brilliance, and means dharma is losing its brilliance. The planet seems to be colliding against each other in the heavens. So everyone is disturbed. Then he's saying further, strange and unearthly figures appear in the sky, as if ghosts and spirits are gathered all around. The rivers and lakes, there who are tranquil and very peacefully flowing, are now restless, and their waters are moving in unnatural ways. Even the sacred fires refuse to burn brightly, no matter how much ghee is offered to them. So that means even the connection between the divine world and this world, there is an imbalance. That's why even gods are not, people are not doing their sacrifices, so gods are not getting happy. Cows are shedding tears and refuse to suckle their calves. Even mothers do not allow themselves to be milked. So that means the nurturing aspect, that femininity, in the Kali Yuga, the biggest thing that is being affected is actually the feminine nature. So people expect everyone to, go behind survival, make money. Money is the forefront of everything. So they're saying that even that nurturing aspect is being lost, because everybody is into survival, everybody is into making money, and they are forced into doing all of that. The bulls too do not rejoice in their herds. So bulls is also representation of, dharma. So they say that in the dharma has four legs, four pillars, which is satya, tap, daya, and dan. So satya, in the whenever in the satya yuga people stop saying the truth, that is when it converts into treta yuga. And treta yuga, everybody is doing tap, and when that tap reduces, then it becomes dwapar. And in dwapar there is daya. And when, they were refusing even to give land, they were completely refusing. So when the daya is also not there in people, then all the three legs are gone, and now it's only on dan. And what is dan? Dan means you are uh, kind of, you're giving something that you have. So if you have money, you give that. If you have food, excessive of whatever you have, you're giving. So if you have food, you're giving that. So if you have knowledge, you are giving that. So anything that you have, you're giving. So that is what the Kali Yuga is based. So if you share the highest dan that you can give is knowledge. So because that helps in transformation of that person or the other person. So yeah, so that is what. So the bull is also, too, is not rejoicing in their herd. They seem troubled, as if sensing some great misfortune approaching. Even the idols, all the earth is shaking, everything. So the idols of the god, they are shifting from their seats and appears to be disturbed, seems to be weeping. The temples, villages, city, forest, even mountains appear lifeless, stripped of their former beauty and splendor. I fear that all these grave omens is pointing to one terrible truth, that is the Supreme Lord, whose divine feet sanctify the earth, is preparing to leave the world. So he doesn't know what has happened. So he's thinking like that. Okay, so next is now Krishna has fulfilled. So this is the thing that I missed actually. So Narada's word about Krishna's departure. So in the chapter 13, verse 49 to 15, he's saying that Krishna has fulfilled. So when he was advising, when Yudhishthira was actually distressed with the, departure of Vidur, the Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, so he was telling that, this will of God and all, right? So you should not lament, and you should not have attachments. So along with that, he was telling this also, that Krishna has fulfilled his divine mission in establishing dharma and will soon leave. He was just giving hint, because at that by that time he knew that he's already left, but he was trying to prepare Yudhishthira with this news. So he was saying that he will soon leave, as his role on earth is complete, and the Yadava dynasty will perish due to a divine curse, leading to a fratricidal destruction. That means brothers killing brothers, like that. There will be Yadavas, the whole Yadava dynasty will be killing themselves, and Krishna's departure is imminent, marking the transition to Kali Yuga. So Kali Yuga is coming. So this is what he was telling, that is that divine sage, celestial sage, whatever he said, is it coming true? Yeah, is now Krishna is preparing to leave. So Yudhishthira should not grieve, as all beings are bound by Supreme Lord's will and must follow their destined path. The material world is temporary, and attachment to it leads to suffering, reinforcing the need for detachment. You have to learn to detach your mind, otherwise, you are going to get entangled, and that will not be good for you. So, Krishna's disappearance signals the decline of righteousness, making it necessary for Yudhishthira to withdraw from worldly duties. And he says that when Krishna leaves, Yudhishthira and his brothers should prepare for renunciation. So, that will be the time for you to leave as well. So all of this he has told to uh, whenever the news reaches, you're also supposed to take sannyas. So as the worldly affairs will lose its meaning in his absence. So this hint actually will come more prominent where when Krishna leaves, what happens to Arjuna, his state of mind and his state of being. He will lose the meaning, in worldly affairs. We'll see how. So next is, just as Yudhishthira was expressing all of his feelings to Bhima, um, Arjuna returns from Dwaraka. So Arjuna is actually extremely sad. So he fell at Yudhishthira's feet, but his movements were slow, as if he carried an unbearable burden upon his shoulders. His head, was low, his gaze empty, and his lotus-like eyes filled with sorrowful tears. Seeing his brother in such a state, Yudhishthira's heart, was gripped with more fear, and he became more restless. Recalling the words of Narada, the divine sage, he immediately asked Arjun about the relatives. It's like, how are, people at, because he's gone to Dwaraka, not Dwaraka, yeah, Dwaraka. So he asked, tell me about our relatives, the Madhus, Bhojas, Dasharhas, Arhas, Satwatas, Andhakas, and Vrishnis. Are they happy in Dwaraka? So who are all these? They are like different clans, Yadava clans only. So they are like cross-married, different kingdoms. So these are that the represent these names represent the clans. So actually, I think Vrishnis is where Krishna belongs to that clan, and Satvata is the clan that belongs, Balram belongs to. So he's saying that, is our revered maternal grandfather Shurasena well. So who's Shurasena? He was Kunti's father. So Kunti's father, is he well? So, and what about our uncle Vasudeva and his younger brothers? So Vasudeva and Devaki's son, so they were also staying in Dwarka, right? So, how are they? So all these questions, he wanted answers, and looking at this, Arjuna was not saying anything. He was full of tears in his eyes, and he was like, looking very weak. So he's asking, are our aunts the seven noble wife of Vasudev? See, Vasudev didn't have just two wives that we know, which is Devaki and Rohini. He had other wives also, so which belongs to some belongs to these clans. So he's saying us that seven noble wives of Vasudev, how are they? Devaki and other, are they hale and hearty, along with their sons and daughter-in-laws? And does King Ugrasena is the father of Devaki, which was mother of Krishna, right? Devaki and Vasudev. So Devaki's mother is Ugrasena. So he's saying that, is he still, because once Kamsa dies, actually Ugrasena becomes the king again, right? Krishna reinstates Ugrasena in his original um, place, instead of Kamsa as king, because Kamsa actually forcefully removed Ugrasena and put him in prison and took over the kingdom as king. So he's saying that, does King Ugrasena, the father of Devaki, still rule Dwaraka? And what about his younger brother Devaka? So he also had a son. So what are they? How are they? So are the noble warriors of Yadava dynasty. So these are some names who were from the Yadava dynasty: Radhika, Kritavarma, Krura, Jayanta, all of these. They are, how are they, and what of the mighty Lord Balrama, Lord of Satvatas. I told you he belongs to Satvata clan. So how is he, and is he faring well, O Arjuna? So what happened was, they got into a fight, and obviously they killed each other. And then when everybody was, no more, Balram and Krishna was there. So looking at their, Krishna told that it is time for me to go. So Balram actually went and sat under a tree near an ocean, and he left his body. And then Krishna went and sat on a top of a tree, where he got, that arrow on his toe, and then he decided to leave his body. So he's asking what happened to Balrama, and is he faring well, O Arjuna? What of Pradyumna? Pradyumna was the son of Rohini and Krishna, the greatest warrior among Vrishnis, and whose bravery on battlefield is unmatched. Oh, how is he? And then other grandsons, Susena, Charudesna, Samba, and all the other noble sons and grandsons of Shri Krishna, are they safe? Why are you crying? What happened? It's like, tell me, are his friends, Krishna's friend, Shrutadeva, Uddhava, Sunanda, and Nanda still reside in Dwaraka under Krishna's protection? And how is our Govinda? How is our Krishna? He's asking, the friend of Brahmanas and most loving Lord of all devotees. Is he still residing happily in his divine assembly? Because he want to know whether, if he can do something about and change his mind. So, but you, dear Arjuna, are you well yourself? Your face has lost all its radiance and sorrow clouds your eyes. Did you face any dishonor? Or so he's like, why is he? Did he do some mistake or something that is bothering him? Why is he? If everybody is well, he's not saying anything about them, then is something wrong with Arjun? He's asking, so did anyone treat you with disrespect, failing to recognize your greatness? Tell me, dear brother, did you ever deny protection to a Brahmana, a child, a cow, or an aged or ailing man, a woman, or any creature that sought your shelter? All kinds of question. Surely you would not never turn anyone away. So, all this said, did you share your bed with unworthy of you, or did you neglect one who is truly deserving? Were you vanquished by those equal or inferior to you while returning from your journey? Did you ignore elderly and children? What is it that is, causing you so much distress? So, is it, have you? So this is important question, that is Krishna no more? So he's asking that, O Arjuna, that is it, O Arjuna, that you have been torn away from your dearest friend, your closest relation, Shri Krishna himself? Has he, the soul of your soul, left you bereft? If so, what sorrow could be greater than this? Yudhishthira's voice trembled with deep concern, his heart heavy, and with unspoken dread, but Arjuna still remained silent. His lips quivered, his hands shook, and his eyes brimmed with tears. The weight of his grief was too much to bear. So, actually, this ends the chapter 14, and kind of this both chapters are like that. So, puts us into that state. Okay, so Canto 1 and chapter 15. So this actually talks about the stricken with grief at the separation from Shri Krishna, the Pandavas actually install Parikshit on the throne of Hastinapur and ascend to heaven. So let's see what happens here. So what is Bhagavatam, wants to convey us through the story. So Sutta continues that Arjuna, also called Krishna due to his close bond with the Lord, has become weak and thin due to his grief. So we have already said he's looking uh pale. So his sorrowful appearance raised many doubts in the mind of his elder brother Yudhishthira, who questioned him. So Arjuna, his heart was heavy with sorrow, and his usual strength seemed to have faded. Completely absorbed in thoughts of Shri Krishna, he was unable to respond to Yudhishthira's questions. So he was blank, actually. And actually, something else also happened on the way, which is actually a part of Canto 11, but I'll tell you now. So, what happened was when Krishna Krishna took Arjuna with him, right? So, Krishna actually told that, it is time for him to leave. So he told that once he's no more, he's supposed to take all the wives of Krishna, which was the eight main wife. They were actually some of them self-emulated themselves, and some actually went into deep meditation and left their body. So, but then there were other 16,100 wives, right? So he instructed Arjun to take them from Dwaraka and bring them to Hastinapur. So he has actually told Arjun to do that. So Arjun said, okay, I will do it. So while he was doing that, and while he was bringing all of them to Hastinapur, to a safe place, bandits actually attacked on the way. So when bandits attacked Arjuna, he tried to wail his Gandiv, but he felt himself to be very powerless in front of these people, and he could not chant his mantras properly. He could not bring out his proper arrows and all of that. He understood that how this is what I was talking about, how Krishna's absence is affecting everyone, and the desire to live a worldly life will go away. So maybe he was grief stricken, or Krishna is actually, he says that my power, everything came from Krishna, his blessings, his grace, his presence. But now that he's gone, everything, he felt like a very ordinary person, and they easily overpowered him. And they actually, because these ladies were Krishna's wife, they were like high value, kind of ladies, whom they can sell. So they captured all of them, and they took him, and actually Arjuna lost all of them. So that is why he's more sadder. And he's saying that, completely absorbed in thoughts of Sri Krishna, he was unable to respond to Yudhishthira's question. And Arjuna actually, overwhelmed with love and grief over Krishna's departure, struggled to hold back his tears. He remembered Krishna's kindness, his love, and the way he had always protected him. And finally, with tears, wiping his tears, he said, with a voice filled with emotion, addressing his elder brother, King Yudhishthira, "O king, I feel deceived by Sri Hari." And he's saying that he came to me, as relative, but now he has left. He has taken away my strength and valor, which even the gods admired. So I'll tell you some stories. Um, why he's saying that even the gods admired. So the world feels empty without him, just as a body without a soul is considered lifeless. This world seems unbearable in his absence. It was only by his grace that I won Draupadi's hand at her Swayamvara. So we know that they were in exile, not the 13-year exile, but they tried to, that Laksha Graha scene was happening. They tried to emulate these people, right? So they actually put some, I think, other 5 bodies there, and they left. So everybody thought that they are dead. So they were hiding. They were, but when Krishna advised to, take Draupadi's hand, they came here, and they were all dressed up as Brahmanas. So when Arjun actually took the bow, broke it, I mean, not broke it, put that string on it, and there this whole task of shooting into the arrow of the fish by looking in the water. When Arjuna accomplished it, Draupadi had doubts, whether I should marry him. And Krishna said that, indicated that he is Arjuna only. And also convinced Draupadi's father, yes, he's Arjun. So Krishna was actually, helped. So that's what he's trying to say, that it was only by his grace that I won Draupadi's hand at Swayamvara. With his strength, I pierced the revolving target, defeating the assembled princes. Because now he's not there. Now he's not able to do any of those things. So that's why he's saying that it is because of him only that I pierced the revolving target, defeated the assembled princes, who are the other people who were, because even the Karna and Duryodhan, they were all present there. They were also retaliating. But then Krishna and Balram, they both interfered and stopped. And then they asked that, they told that, it was Draupadi's task and she is happy. So what is your problem? So then with him by my side, I conquered Indra and his celestial army, offered the Khandava forest to the god of fire, and obtained the magnificent palace built by the demon Maya. So what is this incident is actually when uh, when they married Draupadi, and they actually came out from the this Lakshagra, they went into hiding, and then they came out and they went to Hastinapur, and they asked for their 50%, that you give us the 50%. So in order to just resolve for a temporary period, Dhritarashtra actually gave a land called what do you call it? Khandava Prastha. Okay, so it was a very barren land, and they had a not only barren, it was full of. There was a forest called Khandava Forest inside that place, and it was full of mystical, beings and bad, not good. mystical beings. Takshaka, who the snake that bit Parikshit, also was staying in Khandava forest, and he was actually a friend of Indra. So there's a backstory, which is the god of fire, which is Agni Dev. Agni Dev, because of excessive sacrifices that people were doing, and he was trying to consume everything, he actually lost his luster. So excess of anything will cause you to lose what you have. So he lost his luster and he wanted it back, but he was not. So he went to Brahma and he asked, "What should I do?" And Brahmadev said that you have to burn this Khandava forest, which is full of these mystical creatures and have a lot of medicinal, plants and properties. So where once you emulate the entire forest, your power will be back. So Agnidev was trying, he kept on trying to emulate it, but because Takshaka lived there with his family, or whenever the fire comes, he will ask, you seek Indra's help, Indra will come and pour rain. So he was not doing a favor to Agni Devas. He was like, what should I do? And then he went, and at that time only these people got the land. So they came here, and Agni Dev asked them, Krishna and Arjuna, to help. So Arjuna said, okay, we will. And for that, to they will be having a fight with Indra, right? So during that time, um, uh, to have enough strength to fight, Agnidev actually gives Gandiv to Arjun. Not only Gandiv, the Mahabharata war, the chariot that Arjuna uses, the horses, everything was given to him by Agnidev. And then using that and Krishna's presence, they go. They go, and Agnidev again tries to burn the forest down. And this time what happens is, again Indra comes and pours the rain, but with his archery skills, he prevents even, even not even a single drop of water falls on the forest, and the entire forest gets burnt. So in that, there was a demon called Maya who seeks refuge for, under Arjuna, and Arjuna leaves him. And Takshaka's family is actually, a lot of people dies. So Takshaka develops a lot of, that revengeful feeling. Because of Takshaka only, Indra was preventing, right? So now, uh, all of that story is there. So Takshaka, that's why he bribes the physician, who had the medicine actually to cure Parikshit if he gets bitten by Takshaka. Takshaka goes and gives him some rewards and says that you don't give him medicine. So all of that, and in response to that, Parikshit's son Janmajaya actually conducts a yagna, which naturally absorbs all kinds of nagas into the fire. So, and then it was midway, the everybody requested him, and it was like tit for tat was happening there. So that's what he is trying to say, that when Indra was prevented, that rain was prevented, Indra actually sent lot of his soldiers to attack, and there was a fierce battle, which also was won by Arjun. These are gods that he's a human. He's gods he's fighting. So, but he was victorious. So that's what he was trying to say, that with him by my side, I conquered Indra and his celestial army, offered the Khandava forest to the god of fire, and obtained the magnificent palace built by the demon Maya. So demon Maya, he helped in making the Indraprastha, was formed, which the Khandava Prastha became Indraprastha, which was the palace where the Pandavas lived, which was given by Dhritarashtra. So, and then there was another story where, there was this king called Jarasandh. So Jarasandh captured, he wanted to show that he's very powerful, and he wanted to rule over the Bharatvarsha. And once they had Indraprastha, they were trying to expand, but Jarasandh was refusing, that he is not going to come under Yudhishthira, and he has himself captured around 86 kings, and he kept in, and he was going to do a nar bali to Lord Shiva actually to gain more power. But then with Krishna's advice, Bhima interfered. He went there as Brahmana, and yeah, because they did not have lot of soldiers, they actually asked for that Malli Yuddha. And then the Bhima actually, there was 14-day fight between Jarasandha and Bhima, and they every time the healing was so so fast for Jarasandha that Krishna actually he will always store him. Jarasandha didn't put him in two sides, but he will always come and join and come back to life. So then Krishna, this time, 14th day, he says that, throw it in the opposite direction. So he does that, and that's how Jarasandha dies. So then he frees all these 86 kings. So they are all come under the, alliance of Yudhishthira. So Yudhishthira is actually expanding his kingdom, starting from Indraprastha, which makes him more and more powerful. And, one who can go into war with, that's when that game happens, gambling game, and he loses everything again. So that's what he's saying, trying to say during your Rajasuya Yagya, where he was trying to gather all these people under Indraprastha. Kings from all over paid tribute, all due to his power. So it was all because of Krishna that, Jarasandha was able to be killed and all of this happened. So then again, Krishna freed those kings who later brought gifts to your sacrifice. When Draupadi was dishonored, you ensured that everybody dies, who did that misdeed, and their wife also loosens their hair and cries that their husbands is no more. And then during the exile, there's another story where Durvasa and his 1,000 disciples comes when they were in 13 year of exile. To they said they were hungry and they want to eat food, so they are going and they'll take a bath and come. So she was actually given a Akshay Patra, and it was said that when she finishes her food, then there will nothing, there is nothing left, and she cannot give anything. So now that Durvasa with his 1,000 people has come and she's already finished her food, she prays to Krishna for help. Now, because this person, the Durvasa is known for his anger issues, right? So Krishna says that, feed me something. She says, I have already eaten, I have nothing. So no, go check. And she checks Akshay Patra, and there was one morsel of grain. So she gives it to Krishna, and suddenly all of those people who are taking bath, their tummy becomes full. So then they don't come back, to to have the food from Draupadi and the Pandavas who are living there, because they feel and they understood that there's some, Lord Krishna has done something, so they don't come back, and they are spared with that, humiliation of wasting the food, and on the other side of not having the food. So then it was his blessing that I impressed Lord Shiva in the battle and received Pashupatastra. So there was another um, which is also Krishna only advised him to do a tapas, where Lord Shiva, he impressed Lord Shiva in a battle and he got Pashupatastra. So he was talking about that. And in heaven, when he got Pashupatastra, Indra actually took him, and he, everybody honored him. Everything is because of Krishna's grace. He's thinking that, I am not the doer, it is Krishna who's the doer. That is what the whole point is, he's trying to say here. And he's saying, even in the celestial realms, God like Indra sought my help. When I went there, they taught me mystical archeries, mystical weapons they gave me, they trained me, and then they sent me to take care of these demons called Nivata Kavacha. And I did that for them, and I accomplished this victory only because of Krishna's strength. So I can even lift my finger because of him, and yet today I feel abandoned by him. With Krishna as my charioteer, I alone crossed the vast and deadly Kaurava army, defeating mighty warriors like Bhishma, Drona, and Karna. It was he who gave me power to reclaim King Virata's wealth and humiliate the Kauravas. So there was another incident where King Virata, which is the last 13 years, 12 years, they are supposed to live like an ascetic, and the last year they are supposed to hide. And if they were found out by these people from Kauravas, then they have to go for another 13 years. That was the condition. Otherwise, they can come and reclaim their country. So that was the whole deal. So these people actually had a hint that they might be there. That is, the Pandavas might be at King Virata's place, and they tried to take. But by the time, they planned that they will capture all the cattle of King Virata, and challenge him for a war. And they do also, all Bhishma, Drona, Karna, everybody comes. And by the time the 13-year passes, and Arjuna actually alone, single-handedly, with Uttara, which is Abhimanyu's wife, to be daughter-in-law, that she's the one who's acting like a charioteer, and Arjuna sits behind, and single-handedly, without any army, with his bow, Gandiva, and Krishna was not present there, but with Krishna's strength, he defeats each one of them, and he brings each one of them before Virata and humiliates them. So that's what he's saying. It was he who gave me the power to reclaim King Virata's wealth and humiliate the Kauravas. Krishna stood before me as I fought against Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and many other great warriors at that time. His mere glance weakened them and took away their courage, which was Mahabharata. So, with Krishna's protection, even the deadliest weapon could not harm me, just as Prahlad was unharmed by demons. So, Krishna was there with him every single time. And foolishly, I took Krishna's companionship for granted. He whose feet is worshipped by sages, he humbly served me as my charioteer. I failed to recognize his true greatness. I thought that, it was all my greatness, but no, I was foolish to even think on that terms. I miss his laughter, his affectionate way of calling me Arjuna. Just thinking about it makes my heart ache. He bore all my faults just like father tolerates his child. Now, without him, I feel completely lost. Then he was asking, Yudhishthira was asking about their whereabouts, right? All the Dwaraka, the people. So he's saying, further, he says, my Gandiva is like, now it feels like a worthless piece of wood. Now that, which once used to struck fear in the hearts of kings, saying everything is same. But without Krishna, they are meaningless. They are like, seeds sown in barren land. They don't give any fruits. They are worthless. And he's saying that, oh king, you are asking me about people of Dwaraka. A tragedy has struck them. They have lost their minds due to a curse by their sages, and one day they were intoxicated by a wine, and they quarreled among themselves. This story is actually coming in Canto 11, so I'll not go into that because we have time restraints also. So they fought among themselves in a drunken frenzy, struck each other down. Only a few survived, and it was all Krishna's will. So he's thinking now, Krishna's told in Bhagavad Gita, that you surrender to me and everything happens by my will and all of that. So he's saying that, it was Krishna's will. He caused the Yadavas to destroy each other, just as, they killed each other, just like, more powerful were killing the smaller, fishes were killing the smaller, and each and everyone killed each other. So he removed them from, and he ensured that these Yadavas, these different clans who were very, very powerful, they don't come into Kali Yuga, because under the influence of Kali, they could create more devastations, and they could be like another Duryodhans, so many of them. So Krishna ensured that they became power hungry, and all that. So he removed them from the earth. This is how the Supreme Lord acts. Sometimes he brings people together, and other times he actually separates them. And then he says that this mighty Yadava warrior, who was once invincible, destroyed each other by Krishna's plan. He had lifted the burden of the earth. So it was only Krishna who did this. So as he remembered all of the supreme truth, what Krishna told him, everything, Arjuna's illusion actually, and and worldly attachments disappeared, and he rose above the Shuddha Sattva. He came into that, above the modes of nature. Now he's he's not into, these anxieties and the sadness. Everything went away. The more he started talking about Krishna and his subtle body, that is the astral body that carries the soul, the mind, all of that ego, everything dissolved, and it freed him from the cycle of birth and death. So, and upon hearing about Krishna's departure, yes, Sandhya.
I'm just wondering, did this not happen when he heard the Bhagavad Gita discourse?
No, he did. No, it did not happen. Actually, also it's like he was Nar Narayan, so he had another birth also. That's what I hear. Where he was a big devotee of Lord Shiva, and he gave his eyes, and he achieved the ultimate liberation. So there's another story on that. So here they are saying that he's freed himself from the birth of, that means he is not going to come into the material world anymore unless it is required.
But
So
did he not fought the war in the
yeah,
spirit
he did, but there was still, because he at a later point he actually tries to ask Krishna that, can you please remind me once more that those talks that you told me, I seem to have forgotten and all of that. So Krishna says, what talk? I didn't say anything. So they say that it was someone else talking within Krishna at that time. So and he has not actually gotten liberated completely, even though he did that, all the actions in a surrendered state. So he was not accruing all the karma, but he was not liberated.
But surrender is like an irreversible process. Once you're surrendered, you're fully surrendered. I mean,
It's
it's
it is there, but you need to have that Brahma Gyan, that knowledge of Brahman should be there. So he was not realized. He was surrendered soul, but he was not realized. So we have to have that Brahma Gyan in order to say that we are self-realized. So it's a subtle thing. Okay. So next is and this Brahmgyan is something that, naturally comes within you. So one day you will get it. So that is how it is. So so we are into that process of acquiring knowledge. And only knowledge can bring it, knowledge and devotion. So that makes it more easy for this process to happen. So yeah, so upon hearing Krishna's departure from the world and the destruction of Yadava dynasty, Yudhishthira feels a deep sense of peace. Okay, so he understands, okay, it's another God's will. Yes.
Falguni ji has raised hand. Yeah.
Okay, yes. Radhe Radhe.
Falguni.
Just one in context of what Sandhya ji was asking, that how can Brahmagnan come just like that? It will not. I don't know, because I find that very. I mean, can you please? Because I'm not sure that Brahmagnan can come just like that. No.
It will come when our ignorance is removed. So it's a process, but it comes just like that. It does. All right. Shall proceed. Okay. So upon hearing about Krishna's departure from, because see, the thing is, something is, we are all considering all the knowledge actually is hitting our intellect right now, right? These knowledge is actually hitting our intellect, but intellect is also material in nature, and it is making these small holes in it, and these holes actually will become larger and larger and larger and larger, and the true knowledge will come out. So that is why I said that the Brahmagyan happens, but we have to hit it with this knowledge, because our knowledge is completely material right now, and it is of many births, right? Many countless billions of births that we have taken. So we have lot of ignorance, lot of identities, but we have to keep hitting it, and that mirror of mind will break, and when that breaks, or it gets clarified, the truth actually automatically shines through. So it happens on its own. If we don't have to do, the intellect cannot do it. It happens when the self wants it to happen, and it happens. All right, so let me go ahead. So upon hearing about Krishna's departure from the world and destruction of the Yadava dynasty, Yudhishthira feels a deep sense of peace. He understands that his purpose in the world is complete, because he remembers that the word from Narada, and he says that when Kunti, the mother of Pandavas, so he's now ready to do whatever is needed. Then Kunti also hears about Krishna leaving. She also actually leaves the Hastinapur. She goes into the forest, does her devotion, does her meditation, and she also leaves her body. So she loses all interest in the material world, and she turns away from material attachments and prepares her body. So she leaves. And then he actually he sees that people, Yudhishthira actually sees that Lord Krishna, who is beyond, or he has actually left his body, and he's saying that just like an actor, he has taken on these roles, and he's done the necessary things, and now that the Krishna has left, the Kali Yuga has begun, and unrighteousness like greed, dishonesty, deception, violence, all of this has started affecting people's mind. And as Kali Yuga spreads, Yudhishthira observed the rise of wickedness everywhere, not just Hastinapur. And he sees that people have become selfish, deceitful, violent, and he understands that this golden age with Dwapara Yuga is ending. So he actually prepares to renounce his throne. He crowns his grandson Parikshit as the ruler of the vast kingdom, knowing that he is the worthy successor. And then in Mathura, no, Dwaraka is gone into water. Okay, so in Mathura, Krishna's last surviving family member, which is Vajra, who was Lord Krishna and Rukmani had a son called Pradyumna. Pradyumna's son was Aniruddha, and his son. So he was a great great grandson of Krishna. So Vajra was made the ruler of the Surasenas, and after completing his duties, actually, he performs sacrifices, embraces the life of renunciation, prepares to leave the world behind, and seeks spiritual liberation. He mentally withdrew from all worldly functions, merging his speech into his mind. So he becomes quiet, and his mind into his breath, and his breath into the cosmic forces. And in deep meditation, he dissolves his identity into nature itself. So there he is actually realizing that Brahmagyan, the Brahman realization is happening, and realizing that his body was nothing but a temporary composition of 5 elements. And he understood that beyond the material world lay the eternal truth, Brahman, which is that beyond Mahavishnu, that the Narayana aspect, that's Brahman realization. So with this realization, he detached himself from the illusion of the world and prepares for his final journey, wearing only rags, eating nothing, and speaking not even a word. He actually abandons all his worldly concerns, and his hair becomes unkept, and he wanders like a madman and unconcerned with appearances. And without waiting for anyone, without listening to anything around him, he walks out of his palace with his heart fixed on the supreme truth. He took the path to north, and he would which leads to beyond this world and never to return. Seeing this, his brother too, so here he achieved the Brahman realization, Arjuna did not. So seeing this, his brother too understood that their time has come. They follow him, and they also, with their mind completely devoted to Krishna, they also leave all the material desires, and through deep meditation and unwavering faith, they purify their consciousness and reaches the eternal abode of Supreme Lord. So they reaches. So Vidura, who had spent his life in service and wisdom, he also leaves body at Prabhasa, a place called Prabhasa near Dwaraka, and his soul returns to the divine origin, the realm of Yama, because he was actually an incarnation of Yama. So then that is, he was given the curse, he was cursed, and that's why he had to take birth. So that's another story actually. Anyway, so Draupadi, upon seeing her husbands renounce the world, fix her mind solely on Krishna again, with her thoughts completely devoted to him, she also attains liberation. So anyone who listens with faith to this sacred story of Pandava's departure develops love for Krishna, understanding that it is Krishna alone who brings each and every one of us in this world, and it's him alone who's functioning. The ego can take thousands of credits, but it's Krishna alone who's functioning. So through this devotion, one attains the ultimate spiritual goal, liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Thus, the Pandavas, having completed their divine mission on earth, found their eternal refuge at the feet of Lord Krishna, proving that devotion leads to ultimate perfection. This destination, difficult for the sinful and worldly minded people, was easily attained by them due to their pure devotion to Krishna. So actually, this ends the 14th and 15th discourse, forming the part of a story related to Naimi Sharanya. So, yeah, thank you so much for giving this opportunity.
Wonderful. We heard the story which must increase the love for Krishna in our hearts. So thank you so much.
Mhm. It's like we have to practice, that start seeing that it's not us. Every action is him, because that's what Arjuna realized after Krishna left, right?
That's what it is. Like, when we have something, we don't realize the importance and somehow. So Krishna is beautiful that way. He just makes situations such that whenever he wants you to make realizations, he will arrange for it. So, but yeah, thank you.
Yes. So does anybody have any question? Thank you, thank you. I see comments. So then let's leave for the day actually.
Yeah, I'll just